everybody. Welcome to the Newcomers meeting. It's December 10th, and we'll be starting in about a minute so that all the latecomers can join in. Until then, um, there's a leading to the meet. There's a link to the meeting minutes in the chat. Please do go open it. All of the action happens in here, and you should have access to this document. If you're a part of the community, or if you join newly, you really should have access to it. If you don't have access to it, please speak up, and we'll get you access. Um, If you can see the document on my screen right now, and if you can access it, please go ahead and add your name to the attendees list. That shows us that you've been here, and that gives you a mark on the meeting. And if you don't, I will add them for you. And I do tend to misspell a lot of names in the ways that I want to. Sarcasm intended. And that's it. We'll be starting in about a minute. All right, let's start. Welcome to the meeting. Let me give a few words of introduction. We take an hour every week to welcome all the newcomers in the community, to make sure that you've settled in well, to make sure that you have found your place either in the community or while working on the projects, and to solve any doubts that you might have concerning the projects, concerning setting up your environments to work on those projects. If you haven't found an issue to work on yet, or if you haven't found a domain or a project to get into yet, this is the place to voice your concern because, well, we'll be helping you and you'll get a reply in words rather than on text, which is always better. So that's it. We don't have a very formal tone for this particular meeting. So you can speak up anytime. You can voice any questions that you might have. You can interrupt me anytime that you want to and ask any questions that you might have. We usually start off these meetings by asking any newcomers to introduce themselves if they haven't been on any previous calls. And that helps us get to know you better. That helps us get you started in the right direction. You can include anything in your intro, really. There's no limit to your imagination. You can start off with your favorite color and end up on where you live and what you like to work on. Trust me, however yours goes, mine was worse and I'm still here. So I'm very sure that you'll still make it. Um, who wants to go first? Who wants to give an intro? I will start calling out names. So if you start on your own, that's a brownie point for you. All right. Anish, would you like to go first?
Uh, yes, Shruti. Hi, I'm Manish. I just joined the community a day back, and I'm actually in the final year doing my engineering degree at IIT Indore, and I'm here to just contribute to open source and as well at the same time expand my knowledge. So at this point, I'm just exploring like what the project is about and like what can you do with Meshri.
Nice. That's a good aim. Have you been able to deploy Meshri locally or work with or understand the project yet?
Yeah, I did deploy Meshri, but I think like you also need a adapter, right? It's just not there. Like I was able to start it,
You were able
but
to. All right.
but like as soon as you open the page, right, it asks to select a service, right? I think there's a Meshy or
Mhm.
an option of Meshy or none. I have not installed like any other adapter, I think.
You don't actually need to go install adapters individually. If you pulled up Mesh3, it should be installing every adapter on its own. Let's configure that in the meeting itself. Will you be able to share your screen? It's completely okay if you don't.
You are you asking me?
Yep.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Just share my screen.
Sure. Not right now. Take 5 minutes to set it up.
Yeah.
I'll go with the other interest until then. All right. Um, Debraj, Maji, would you like to go next?
Yes, Shriti.
Yeah.
So my name is Devraj. I'm a pre-final year student from the Department of Electrical Engineering, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. And this is my first time contributing to open source. I'll be starting my journey with Layer 5. I have not done, I have not, this is my first time contributing to open source. So I'm looking forward to a very nice journey with you guys. And that's all.
That's great. Any particular domains that you want to work
I would like to work on the back end
in?
if it's
Nice.
for.
Any of the projects caught your eye? Have you had a chance to look around yet?
No, I'm just setting the groundwork for contributing because
Hmm.
basically it's completely a new domain for me. There's Kubernetes, Dockers, and what other tools are left. Uh, Layer 5, how it functions. I'm
All
just
right.
setting up the groundwork. Means I'm just studying what is happening. It seems that I'll be a standby in standby mode for a couple of weeks before I can finally contribute something meaningful. So I'm
No
looking forward to
issues.
that.
That's completely fine. That's more than fine. As long as you stick around with us and keep asking questions, I'm more than sure that you'll be set up really soon.
Yes, I hope that too.
All right. Um, Manisha Kanyal, would you like to go next? Uh, if you're having audio issues, that's completely fine. You can text and chat as well. Moving on, is anybody else new? Himanshu Singh? Or did somebody?
Hello, am I audible?
Yep, you
Actually, there is a wedding going on
are.
right in front of my house, so it's going to be a bit noisy. I apologize for that.
Ouch. Yep.
So yeah, hi everyone, I am Himanshu, uh, and like I did my Google Summer of Code this year with our language, and like I've been contributing in various open source organizations
Mhm.
like from this January, and I'm in my final year of computer science and engineering,
All
and
right.
yeah, I'm actually currently interning at a fintech startup based in Mumbai.
Nice. I couldn't hear the entirety of that, but it's great to have you. If you have, or if you are eyeing any of the projects, let us know. We'll help you out. Or if you are looking for a domain, we'll help you out with that too. All right. I guess that's everybody new. That's completely fine. We have to have wedding sometime. All right. Before we start on with any tutorials or with any other discussions, I'll share this. So if you're new to the community and if you're looking to start out with any of the projects, we have a mentorship program that you might like to get into. And if you do, all you need to go do is fill in the member form that you should have been mailed by now and go pick a mentor or go pick a meshmate. That is what we call mentors in Layer 5. All you have to do is go pick one of these people. Kalichi should be on the call. I'm not sure if Ruth is still, but they both are meshmates. And if you click on any of these profile pictures, you'll find a list of their domains, a list of their projects that they've worked on, their time zones, so that you can match up with them. For example, if you want to work in backend, Kush would be a very good meshmate. I'm looking at you, Himanshu, there. And that's it. You can go pick them and they'll help you out by letting you know about the projects that you want to start out in, letting you know about contacts that you should have, and basically get you a leg up in the community so that you don't have to flail around looking for resources. Um, Apart from that, all right, let's go. Let me give you a roundabout sense of the community first. All right. If you look at the projects that Layer5 has, and if you are looking to work on any of these, Meshtree is one of our central projects. It is a service mesh management plane, and I'm more than sure that a lot of you have tried to run it locally, and we'll come back to Anish and figure out what issue is having. Running Meshtree locally, you need to have a Docker-enabled system and a running cluster, and it works on any OS, including Linux, Mac, and Windows. And if you want to work on any of the projects, running Meshtree should be the first step that you go about having, because most of our projects is centered around it, or at least has some connection to it. So let me go run it for you and show you how it works so that you can go try it out. If you are looking to get into side projects or web dev projects, that is a completely different domain, and we'll come back to it a little bit later if Ruth is feeling well, or I'll take it up if she isn't. All right, just a sec. I hope my screen is visible. All right, so after you have a Docker-enabled system, and if you have a running cluster up and running, and you don't need to do anything else apart from going and running. By the way, is my screen visible? I think I'm in full screen mode. Anybody
Yeah.
else? Yeah. All right, great. If you have a Docker-enabled system and if you have a running cluster, all you need to go do is run a single command, which is just a second. What this command essentially does is pull up, download, and install Meshtree and all of its adapters, and open up the dashboard on your browser. So you don't actually need to do anything else. Um, all right, this will take about a minute. So until it pulls up, um, Manisha, I was just asking you to give an intro, same as everybody else. If you
Sorry, I previously I didn't catch your voice. It was breaking.
ah, uh,
That's why I didn't hear you.
is it audible now?
Yeah, it is.
Great.
Hi everyone. Hi everyone. I'm Manisha Kanyal. I'm currently in my second year learning DSA in C++ and learning React. And now I'm new to open source, and this will be the first project of mine in contributing to an open source. And yeah, I'm excited to explore more.
Nice. That's a great intro. Welcome to the
Thank
community, Mickey. All of the newcomers, if I haven't already said that. Hmm. Is anybody interested in working with web dev projects on this call? You can speak up.
Which project?
Any web dev projects. Maxime, I know you are. And we'll. Did you find that JS issue, by the way?
I've been working on Layer 5 issues
Mhm.
today, so not yet. I'm
Ah,
gonna
nice.
spend my environment
Mhm.
to
Were
work
you able to
properly.
get the setup done?
Sorry?
Were you able to get Gatsby up and running on your local?
Not yet, not completely. I need to get to the Istio, um, Istio tab, right?
For Gatsby? No, you don't.
Yeah. Oh yes. You said Gatsby. Yeah. So for Gatsby, it's okay. I've been solving one issue already today about this website.
All right. If you're having any issues, we have a call on Monday that you probably should attend, and we'll solve it for you.
Okay.
All right. Um, that's great. All right, mesh is pulled up. Let's go run it. Another thing that you might have noticed is something called Katacoda, written on top of the browser here. So I'm running this on a VM that is within Katacoda, and we have sandbox tutorials set up on a platform called Katacoda that any of you can go run, which will not require you to set up your system locally, and you can go try out Meshri and see how it works. You'll have instructions to work with and a tutorial session typed out specially for you, and that's it. You won't have to configure anything. You can just go play around with it, get comfortable, and then when you do get comfortable, join us and start contributing. All right. All right, that's it. That is the Meshri dashboard. If you've made it to your way here, you're done. You can go perform ad hoc tests for either of the clusters running up. I currently have a Minikube cluster running up, so that's what it shows. And Meshri auto configures your kubeconfig file. I'll share a link to the category tutorials in the meeting minutes as well as the chat. No issue there. Yeah. What was I saying? Yep. So Meshri auto configures your kubeconfig if it is placed in the generic file, which should be a home folder under a .cube folder address. And if it can auto detect your kube config, it will automatically load it and you won't have to go manually do it. But if it is not placed in the correct root address, you'll have to locate the file and you can just go upload it. It'll auto configure the config file and it'll auto detect the kind of cluster that you're running, whether it's a Minikube or a K-Res cluster or anything that you're running, or Docker desktop or whatever. Let's go back to the dashboards. Um, Anish, you were having an issue with the adapters, right?
No, I was able to get here, but since I do not have any, cluster running, so
Mhm.
I didn't know what should I do next. Is there any way uh, I'm new to
Uh,
Kubernetes and Docker,
yep.
so I really don't know what can I use for a for like a simple testing to see how does it work. So
Mhm.
can I how can I deploy my own
Cluster?
cluster?
Yep. All right. A very good source to run here would be the quick start guide in the documentation. That should get you up and running. By the way, which OS are you using?
I'm running on WSL
All right. Which Linux
2,
distro?
Ubuntu
Ubuntu 18 or 20?
20.
2004? 20. All right. I think Minikube would serve you well. It's slightly heavyweight, but it'll serve you well. It's a simple cluster and it won't take too much memory space, hopefully. Or a KDS cluster should work fine as well.
Yeah, fine.
All right.
Uh,
Yep.
there's nothing written related to that, right? For example purposes, I would have.
I'm really sorry. Could you repeat that?
There's nothing there isn't any quick start guide relating to deploying, testing it as a whole example, right? I would have to do it on my own.
Testing mesh or testing your cluster?
No, just
Just to
never
get it
mind.
up and running?
Yeah, just to
All right.
I'm at my home on my PC. I
Mhm.
don't really need to for my work purpose. I don't really need to deploy a cluster myself,
Mhm.
right? So I'm
Uh,
just I want to
yeah.
do it for a lightweight purposes so that I can just check
Mhm.
how does the push work.
All right. Let me give you a
Right.
suggestion here. If you just want to try it out, or if you just want to see how it works, or just to play around with it, Catacora would be actually be your best place for you because you won't have to do anything locally. It's just a tutorial, and you'll have time and space to run it, to just play around with Mesh without or before doing anything to your local system. And if you want to have a local experience with it, or if you want to work for it slightly long time, Minikube clusters don't actually take much space. And if you're working on WSL, are you working on WSL 1 or 2?
Two,
Did you say 2?
two.
Oh, that's
Yes.
perfect. If you're working on WSL 2 and if you have a Windows version greater than 1903, I believe, you should be able
Yes.
to
Yeah.
yeah, you should be either be able to update your Windows version to 2004, which I recommend doing, or you should be able to install Docker Desktop with 1903 as well,
Yes.
and that
Yes.
will self-integrate, and that's just an application. There's no setting up required. After installing Docker Desktop, I
Yeah. Yeah.
believe, yeah.
I'm actually using that only.
Oh, great.
You know,
Oh, then you
and
don't really need to go install Minikube. All
should I
right.
just share my screen?
Yeah, please do. Go ahead.
Okay. So if you can see my screen, there's no Kubernetes cluster running,
Yep.
I guess.
Could you
And
pull
I
up your
think,
Docker Desktop dashboard?
yeah,
Great. Kubernetes enable. Great. All right. Could you pull up your WSL? All right. Go to your home directory.
it's at home.
All right. Go to cd.cube, space, space, dot kube.
Okay.
Do a ls. Hmm.
There's nothing in it.
Huh, that's funny. Mm, that should not be happening. Your cluster isn't up then.
Yeah, there is no cluster as you can see here.
No, no. If you so if you go back to your Docker desktop settings and Kubernetes,
Yeah.
yeah. So if you enable a Kubernetes, it will pull up a single node cluster, and the
Okay.
config file should ideally be located in the home /.q folder. But the
Okay.
config file, could you reset your cluster? Also, if this is glitching, you can just go install Minikube. It'll take 2 seconds.
Okay, yeah, I would do that. Like, can continue the meeting.
Yeah, sure. We won't be able to sort it out on this call anyway. It'll take about half an hour. All right. But the steps will be same. The Minikube config file should also be in the same folder, unless you move it. All right. Let me share my screen again. Just a sec. All right. So after loading your config file, as I just rambled on about, you can go perform ad hoc tests, which basically means testing your connection with your cluster. And once you do, you'll get a pop-up toast notification that says Kubernetes successfully pinged, and there you go. That's all you need to do. Metri is up and running and has everything that it should need, ideally, to work. You can also perform ad hoc tests with any of the adapters. All right, let's go install a mesh. I'm leaving the namespace as default, but you can name it to anything that you want. It's basically like naming a book, and that will be the official name that it will relate back to for everything that you do. So after it has been deployed, which I just did, by the way, you'll get a post notification as well. Also, you'll be able to see the deployment right about here. It installs components separately, which you'll be able to see in a minute. After it builds up, that will include STOD, it'll include an ingress gateway and an egress gateway. I'm saying random words right now, probably to some of you, but that's completely fine. You'll get in time. There you go. They're just control planes and they're just components. Right. After post this, you can go and deploy sample apps. Sample applications are used to test out service meshes and experiment with their features, test their value limits, or apply traffic management rules or deployment testing or whatever you want to. You can go apply configurations to match up with your sample applications. Um, this is really great because you don't have to go run any manual commands. Mesh does it automatically from you from a dashboard. Apart from that, you can apply custom configurations, but which are basically YAML source files. But more on that later. What you can also do is go run performance tests. For example, you can give any random name to the test. I'm gonna go give it test. You can choose your service mesh. Uh, I'm gonna give a random URL here. All right, it'll pull up the test results in 15 seconds. A lot of what I'm doing right now might not be making a lot of sense, but it will, I hope, really soon. What I'm doing at the moment is simply showing you Meshri's features, and it's more than completely fine if you don't completely understand everything that's going on. That's funny, yeah. It's completely fine if you don't understand everything that's going on. What I'm basically doing, or what these tests or what performance tests are used for, is comparing and analyzing service mesh performance, or comparing two service meshes, or comparing and analyzing your own service mesh, and either improving upon them or configuring those features to compare meshes. So that's it, that's Meshri. And for the backend, Meshri works with a CLI, a Meshri CTL, which is written in Go. So if you want to work on either CLI commands or DevOps, Golang would be a pretty basic way to start. And Meshri CTL is a really good project to start out if you want to work with Go because it's a limited project, or it's a limited sample space and a really good way to start out with Go. Apart from that, if you want to work on front end, it's at least the Meshery front end is mostly invested in React, mostly built with React. Um, let's go look at something else. Yep. So that's it for the Meshery front end and back end, if that's what you want to work with. Um, apart from that, I'll also explain the web dev projects, but I'll pause here to ask for any questions or anything else that you want to ask or speak about. All right, let me ask you this. To any of the newcomers or to any of the people on this call, have you found a project or a domain to work with? Or are your interests or domains lining up with any of the projects? Or if you'd know what you're interested in, but you don't completely know what the projects are about and don't know where to start, please speak up. All right, Himanshu, I hear you.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
um,
Uh,
yep,
Shriti was telling that CTL, is it?
yep, the
That's the
CLI.
name of the project for starters.
That's the Meshery CLI, and yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I've started learning Golang.
Mhm.
So, how much, what's the level of proficiency required to contribute to that project?
Golang, you can actually start over this as a beginner as well and just keep on learning as you contribute to the project or as you progress with the project. That's completely fine.
Okay,
Do you
okay.
want to work with Golang, Debraj?
Yes, yes, I
All
want to
right,
work with Golang.
all right. Noted. A good
And
person for you to contact in the community would be Anirudh. Anirudh Jan. I'll
actually,
give.
I'm in contact with,
Mhm. Forgot the name.
wait, please, yes, I forgot the name.
All right.
It's Utkarsh. I'm in
Utkarsh.
contact with
Yeah,
Utkarsh
that's
Srivastav. Actually, he is helping me out on whenever I get time, I just ping
mhm.
him right away.
Nice. That's a good person to be in contact with. Utkarsh is a good point of contact. Another point of contact would be Anirudh, but Utkarsh
Anirudh.
is
Okay,
a
Anirudh.
fine point as well. Ping me on
Okay.
Slack and I'll point you to other people who can help you out as well.
Okay, and another thing was that the mentorship form that has been that has I have got actually got a form
Mhm,
from you
mhm.
that has basically everything in it, everything from for what I am required to do, what I want to do,
Yep.
and so that's the mentorship form. Is that
Uh,
one?
no, that is a community member form,
Okay,
which basically allows us to get to know you better, and that's all it's known for. You can
okay,
go and type out what you want to do and we'll point you in the right direction. If you want to have a
okay,
mentor, if you want to have a meshmate, all you need to do
okay,
is go pick one out and ask them to be your meshmate or your mentor on the Newcomers channel on Slack.
okay, and then there's no form for mentorship,
No,
meshmate. Okay,
no,
okay,
there's no formal form.
okay, okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Any other questions? This is more of an interactive session, which I completely understand that most of you might not have anticipated, but you can go ahead and ask any question that you want. Hey, Stephen, thank you for joining us back. Did you get Meshery up and running?
Yes, yes, I have.
Great.
I have.
It's
Yes,
nice.
it's really cool, and I'm still learning, obviously. But um, yes, I downloaded it and installed it and got it up and
Mhm. That's great. It's time for you to graduate from this meeting and up to the bigger tasks.
running. Yes,
That's great, though. Thank you for joining us back. It's lovely to have you.
thank you.
Great. All right. Anybody else? Any other questions? That can range from what the heck are you talking about for the last hour to how do I set this thing up? By the way, if you want to deploy Meshri locally, any of these commands will work. And you can get these on the Layer5 site under the projects Meshri. All you need to do is copy these up, paste them in your local, and run them. The command will even pull up Meshri on your browser. You don't really need to go copy the permalink either, or open up your browser to a particular port. It'll automatically do that for you. All right. Manisha, what do you work with? What domain are you interested in?
I am interested in web development and I'm currently learning React.
Mhm.
And I am interested in working with front end right now.
Nice. Have you found any issues across the projects to pick up?
Uh, right now, I'm still exploring Meshri.
All right.
I haven't explored it yet.
All right. Let me ask you this. Are you more inclined towards working on Meshri UI, or are you more inclined towards working with website development?
Development.
All right. Well, you don't really need to go explore Meshri for that. Let me give you an intro to the Layer5
Okay.
sites then. All right. I'll
Okay.
get a little bit into web development now. So Layer5 currently supports 5 running sites that it maintains, upholds, improves upon, and which are running in upcoming projects. 4 of them work or are based on Jekyll, which is a platform or a static site generator. A fifth site that is still in the works and is being worked on in full flow and will be up and running by the end of this year is a second version of the website that you just saw, that is layer5.io, which is a central website. We are transitioning into a next-gen version called Layer5NG, which runs on Gatsby, which is another React
Okay.
framework, which you might be interested in working with, and which is why I'm mentioning it.
Yep.
Yep,
Yep.
nice.
Yep.
All right. So for the UI, there are a lot of issues that you can actually go pick up, and there should be a lot of open issues as well. If there aren't, I'll find something for you. Um,
Okay. Thank you. That would be great. That would be great.
nice. All right. Ruth usually gives this intro, but she is sick today. Ruth is one of our meshmates who was on the call, but she unfortunately is under the weather. So let me take this up. All right. So we have 4 sites running on Jekyll. One of them I just showed to you, and you can go explore it. You can go explore it to either understand projects better or to get to know the community better or anything else. Um, about from that, Meshri, the central project, has its own website. Another central project that we work a lot on is SMP or the SMP spec. It has its own site. You can go look at it. You can go work around with it. This one is mostly worked on with CSS and JS and a couple of other frameworks. And I have personally worked on it. And it still has a couple of issues that need to be solved or that need to be fixed or that can be improved upon. If you want to work on it, go look at its repo. If there aren't any open issues, ping me. I'll connect you to the people who are currently working on it, and they'll pick up something up for you. Apart from that, another good source for anybody starting off with Meshri or anybody who wants to contribute or to web dev or anything else is the Meshri documentation site. You'll actually find a quick start here. I believe somebody was asking for it on the call. So if you haven't worked with Docker that much, or if you don't know about Kubernetes that much, this should be able to guide you to get a cluster up and running and to get Meshri up and running along with it. Yep, that's it. That's it. The one running on Layer 5 or on Gatsby, the one I'm talking and I'm talking to you, Manisha. When I
Yes,
say
yes,
this, yep.
yes.
So this is the Layer5 side. This is still being worked on, and we are very invested on working on this.
Yep.
You should be joining us for the websites call on Monday. You'll find,
Okay.
yep, you'll find all the links to join meetings or to join
Hmm.
project meetings.
Hmm. Yep.
There should be a link here. Yep, here. You'll find links to join any meeting here and the meeting minutes. And this is the one I'm talking about, by the way. This is on Monday, and you should be able to join us for a project meeting where we discuss everything related to websites. And we're currently heavily working on the Layer5 NG site. So if you join the meeting, that would be a very good place for you to start out.
Okay. Thank you for this information. I didn't know before.
All right, that's completely fine. And yeah, that's it. That's it for the Layer5 side projects.
Thank you.
Anytime. All right. I'll spell this out again. The purpose of this call is to get you started. To get you started in either of the domains that you pick or any of the projects that you pick. So if you want to speak up or if you want to ask questions, this is really, really the best place that you can do that. You'll get a faster reply, you'll get a more informed or more detailed reply, and we'll be able to connect you to the people who can help you get started. And all right, that's weird. What else can I tell you about? Any other questions, anybody? Himanshu, do you mean do you want to work with Golang or do you want to ah for backend related projects or domains? Kush might be a good person to connect with Karsh or Anirudh might be other good people to connect with. Mikul could be another good person to connect with. And I'm just rambling off names right now, but how about this? You ping me on Slack and I'll connect you to the people rather than saying names that you won't remember, or I'll also type them out in the meeting minutes so that you'll have a memory of the same. Can I last names? Right. Sure. Anita, let me type it out for you. Mhm. All right. Let me repeat that again. Any other questions? Anybody? All right. Just a sec then. All right. Let me do some other things. If you're not on Slack, by the way, please do join us because 90%, 99% of the work happens there, and you'll be missing out on some important conversation if you're not. Apart from that, if you want to go look for issues, this would be a pretty good place to start out in. Any issue that's labeled with a help wanted label can be picked up by any of you. If you haven't worked with GitHub before, that's completely understandable. And it might take you a little bit of time to get started out, but It's easy when you do. Trust me on that. Also, if you're wanting to work on Layer5 NG, um, and if you want to look at the repo or the code, Manisha, and whoever else wants to work in it,
Okay.
yep,
Mhm.
the code is actually not in another repo. It's under the Layer5 NG branch in Layer5 itself.
Okay.
So all you need to do is check out that branch. Apart from that, let me show you the Layer5 log. There you go. Um, that's it. That's the log. We have about 40 repos, and that can be a little bit confusing. But the central ones that you should be looking out for to either look for issues or to understand the project or to get into the code. For Meshri, it's the Meshri repo. For Layer5, it's Layer5. For Layer5 NG, it's the branch under Layer5. For Meshri CTL, you'd find it under the Meshri repo itself. Hmm. Yep. Yeah. For working on Meshri CTL, you go. Let me actually do this. For anybody looking to work with CTL, can actually refer to a guide. And just a second, I'll add a link to it in the meeting minutes in just about a second. Not in this particular meeting. Hmm. All right. Let me do another helpful thing that might be might make it easier for you. All right. So if you're wanting to work on Meshri or Meshri CTL, or if you wanted to get a better understanding of the project, the Meshri development meeting will be a really, really good place for you to start out with. Our meetings are not that formal, so you can speak up anytime you want and ask questions, and I'm more than sure that they'll be answered. And you'll be pointed to the right source or the right people that you can connect with to understand either the concept or the project better, and to be able to be in a position to start contributing. Uh, you are in the newcomers meeting, so that's self-explanatory, I suppose. The website's call is for anybody working on any of the website projects or working or wanting to work on any of the side projects. This we really should be adding a date here, and we will add a column for the meeting timings, but you'll find that in the meeting minutes anyway. So the website's meeting happens on Monday, and if you're an IST, which I am, it starts at 7 p.m. Convert that to any time zone that you're living in. The community meeting is also a central place that you really, really should be at if you want to contribute to the project, if you want to be involved in the community more. It happens on Friday, and anybody here can join in, and you're very welcome to join in. That starts at 8:30 IST, and yeah, that's it. Any of the project meetings, if you're involved in, you are very welcome to join. Actually, the mesh UI to be discussed in websites meeting or development. The mesh UI. That would be the developer meeting. Himanshu. All right. That's it from my side. That's it for an hour of rambling from my side. I'll let you take a break from my voice, and please go ahead and ask your questions. Please make sure that you take away something from this meeting, or you take away something from spending an hour listening to my voice or listening to me rambling on and on about the Layer5 projects. Make sure that you know which domain do you want to work with, or make sure you have an idea of where to start out from. We'd love to have you back on this call, but we'd also love to have you graduate from this call and move on to actual project calls, so to be able to move on to actually contributing. So if at the end of a good 60 minutes you don't know where to start out with, or you don't know which domain or project to start out with, or if you have any other doubts, that is not good. So please go ahead, speak up, and ask. We don't really believe in silly questions here. All right. Hey, Kalichi, can you speak up? Is your audio working? Nope.
Hi, Shruti.
Hey, Kalichi, how you doing?
Okay, so sorry. I'm actually um torn between two things at the same time. That's why I've not really contributed to what you're saying. I just wanted to be on the call, you know.
That's completely
So,
fine.
yeah.
That happens a lot, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I wanted to ask Kalichi to speak up because she's one of our meshmates, and if anybody wants to ask her to take you on, now might be a very nice way of maneuvering her into it.
Okay. Thank you for joining the Layer 5 community. Um, if you have any issues and would like someone to help you around the community, repo or whatever thing, just let us know. Hit us up on the what's this channel?
Newcomers.
Yeah, the Newcomers channel. And if you have issues contributing, you can hit us up as well on this other channel. The
Describe it to me and I'll name it for you.
okay, the
Mhm.
channel where you have issues and I think the
Support.
Amiya
Support.
support. Yeah, I always forget the support channel. Just hit us up there. We'll help you out if you have issues with GCal. If you're running on Windows, we could help you. I could help you out with your GCal issues to set up your development environment, and whichever way, just hit us up. We are here for you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks for that sweet intro message. And well, folks, that's it. That's 55 minutes of talking for me. If anybody else has any other questions, please do speak up. I'll be in the call for the next 5 minutes. But if you're not, that's it. That's it for for today's call. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for being in this call for an hour almost. And I hope you're taking away something at least from this particular call. Join us for the rest of our meetings or join back for this particular meeting next week if you have any other questions. And that's it. Thank you for coming on. Same time next week.
Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.